Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative, and we're back to do some more testing. I decided after my last video I was going to do something a little easy peasy for me, but also to give a review on something. Now I went and I bought this myself. No one sent me anything, but we are going to be checking out these Sharpie creative markers. I was in Michael's on the weekend and I saw these and I thought, oh, these are kind of interesting. I mean, I've used Sharpies before and they're pretty good because they'll stick to pretty much anything. And what kind of caught my attention with these was the fact that they had said paint effect, no bleed. And the other thing when they said that was that it would not leak through the other side of paper. So let's kind of go through this. So they have a scan code here. You can scan to see what it can do. I have not done that. It says pops on light and dark surfaces. That's in French. I don't read. They have bullet tip, but they also have a brush tip. Now, I only got the 5. They're fairly expensive. These were $23 and I got the 30% off. So I saw them and I wanted to try them. They had another set of, I think, 12 for $45. And I thought, no, I'm not spending that kind of money. I'll buy these and see what they're like. They did have a set of 2 for $12, a black and a white. Anyway, there were some interesting things I found with this. So I thought, hey, let's see what they can do and what this is all about. So it says uncap and create, no prepping or priming needed. Now that was something I found really interesting, that some of these other paint pens, you've got to prime them. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have noticed with some of them that as you have to keep priming them, sometimes you get blobs of the paint coming out. So I always do it on paper first and then go on to my piece. I never try and prime on something specific I'm working on. So I thought that was kind of cool. So we'll see how that works. Colors layer without bleeding. Now I hadn't noticed that, but I think that's kind of interesting that now whether that's one color on top of another or just color layers without blending. Okay, maybe I am misreading that. Colors layer without blending. Colors layer without blending. Okay, I think I know what that means. We'll find out. Oh, geez, the simple things in life. Boldly marks on paper, metal, wood, ceramic, glass, rock, and canvas. You'll notice some of the pieces that I used in my previous video with the metallic markers, I'm going to be using them as well just because they're convenient. And we'll be using the word Sharpie so you can see that I'm not just to see the change. Okay? Water resistant and fade resistant. So that's cool. Now, at the bottom here it says no bleed through on paper. I'm very curious about that. I've used some alcohol markers and they bleed through things. So what I have is I have 2 different pieces of paper here. One is a piece of, it's heavier or thicker than photocopy paper, but not a lot. So I want to try it on that. And then this is, I believe, 65-pound cardstock, 65 or 85. But in that range. So we're going to try those because I want to make sure it doesn't bleed through because I think that's really interesting. For best results, store markers horizontally. So yeah, we're going to try these out. Now I did bring over a silicone mold because I was or a silicone cup because I was curious about that. What else? I thought we tried on resin. Just trying ceramic. I'm going to be using my lips. I have my rock from the last piece. I have wood. I have a metal lid. And I have a canvas. And actually I have an idea for canvas, but that'll be another video. So we're going to try these various things. As you can see, I have not opened this package. I'm really curious about the bleed. Things not bleeding. So let's just see. I might as well try them out for you as opposed to you going out and buying them. All right, let's get them out. Now, I guess this is just, I don't really know what their point for top is, unless when they're putting these together. That's all it says on the inside. So I thought maybe this would have something on it in regards to that, but it doesn't. Okay, fair enough. Nothing to see there. So let's start. Well, let's take a cap off. We're not supposed to have to prime these. Blue. Okay, so you can see already primed. Let's get out another color. Let's do the red. Okay, already primed. So that's kind of cool. Let's take these and let's start with the paper. I think the paper's got me most curious out of everything here. I'm going to try plastic too. I mean, if you're going to try things, you might as well try as many things as you can. So let's just do this. So they're pliable. When I say that, like they've got some bend to them. So there's the side, and it hasn't gone through. Let's try a different color. They do. They're almost they're spongy, like spongy. I know, it may sound really odd. Again, the small things some days really amuse me. But it's not going through. I mean, you can see it through this paper, but it hasn't actually come through the piece of paper. Let's try a darker color. And we'll do a couple of those. Because, you know, get them to put their pen where they're... Now, you can still see, it's drying, but it hasn't come through. So that's good. That's good. Let's try it on the heavier stuff. We'll go with another color. I would not, if you were going to let kids use these, you would have to make sure that they're not pressing really hard. I know kids like to do that. You know, let's press as hard as we can. But I would be careful about doing that. You don't. Like, you can just glide this over the top. Okay, so there we have Sharpie on that. And again, not coming through, which is nice. And I'm applying about the same pressure. We can let that sit for a moment or two. But no, it's not going through. So that's nice. I appreciate that, especially on paper. Especially with doing cards that I do. Quite a few of them. And it's nice if you could have something that's not going to leak through the paper. We might as well just leave that there. So with the canvas, I'm just going to do it on the side. Because like I said, I have an idea for canvas. So let's do green. Maybe I'll just do a line across here. The other thing I want to do, so we've just done a line. Yeah, see how talented I am? It's sad, really. Okay, let's do this on the inside because I don't really want to do anything on the outside. So, Sharpie, can you see me? I really wouldn't expect it to go through canvas. And two, because this has a seal on it as such now. But I can it's funny because I can see the paint through there. I don't think that it's come through, but I'm not 100% sure on that, you know? I'm not sure on that. Can you, like, it's very faint. And I'd like to think it hasn't come through on that. But that's interesting that you can kind of see it on that side. I mean, I can see it, but it's not the same. So I'm wondering if it is a little bit different with canvas. Let's do another color. Now, this is a cheap canvas. Okay, this is not a professional canvas. This is, I think, like a Dollarama canvas. So it's not, like, it hasn't come through, but I'm really interested in the fact that, can you see that? Like, you can see the red. it's not, I don't think, really coming through, but you can see it more boldly than you can on the others, which is interesting to me. Anyway, so that's that. Yeah, that's interesting. So keep that in mind if you try that. So let's do our metal next. Now, the other thing we should be doing, which I haven't done on these yet, again, you're going to let them dry before you start running your fingers through them. Okay, it's not coming off on my finger. Now, I'm thinking that maybe if you put some water on here, and I don't have water handy. Again, I don't have water handy. It might affect it, but I'm guessing if you're going to be doing this, you're not going to add water to it. Now, I know one of my subscribers had commented that they make sure they seal, I think, things specifically like the mix to mold or ceramic resins or something like that. They're putting a sealer on it first in case they make a mistake when they're doing whatever they're doing. So again, some of the stuff you're gonna have to try out on your own and do some more testing if you do buy them, but at least you get an idea here. Let's do green. So S-H-R-I. Am I spelling this right? All right. So let's let that dry up. I don't want to run my fingers through it when it's wet, but I do want to see what happens when it dries. Now, you may have to, if you were doing it on metal, I don't know if you can see, but there are sort of some spots where it's not covered properly, so you may want to go over things twice. Now let's just see if I can do the E. Yeah, see, I'm messing up the E. Now it did say metal. Let me get my packaging back. It did say metal. Boldly marks on. It does boldly mark on it. So let's let that sit for a couple of minutes. For our lips, we're going to use the red. I don't like having stuff on my fingers. Now, maybe not the best color in the world to use. And I did not sand, I have not sanded this down since I put the, whatchamacallit on it, the paste. Okay, so we're going to let that sit too. I don't want to run my fingers through that. I'm going to let that sit for a moment. Okay, so we'll let that sit. Let's see about resin rock. I've got my wood piece down here. I want to specifically do what they say it can do, and then we'll go on to. So let's do the blue. We've got some white left here, so let's just do it across the top. Now I want to get my packaging back again. So colors layer without bleeding. So I'm almost wondering if that means, so well, let's see if I have what I believe they're trying to tell me on here. Okay, I've gotten that as close to the blue as I can. And it doesn't look like it's bleeding. Like it covers it up. So I'll just go over the end here. So you could cover it up. The blue's fairly dark, but you could cover it up, especially if you went over it more than once. Right, like anything, if you're covering up a dark color, you're going to have to go over it more than once. But it's not going into it. Like it's not, like if you were to use an alcohol, it would, run into the other one. And then that's just on the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the yellow now. closer to that. Yeah, so it's not bleeding into it. It might change the color of it. But no, it's not. It's just covering it up. Looks a little orange, but again, it's not bleeding. Now, rock's not a porous material really either, so the other thing I'm kind of looking at is whether or not it's pulling the color. Now, here on the tip, we've got some of the red. So I'm sure we could just wipe that off and get back to yellow. Okay, let's go back to our piece of metal. Let's do a new finger. Okay, we'll use my middle. Okay, you just gotta let it dry long enough before you start running your fingers through it. Not that I recommend that, but I needed to dry a bit more. Okay, so let's go back to the lips. So again, using my middle finger, I apologize for that. Okay, let's just go over that. Oops. Is it coming off? I don't think so. Maybe not the best color in the world to use. I don't think it's coming off. Let's try it with, I wish I had white paper towels, but I don't. But it's not coming off. Or very little, if at all. So there's that. Now, our wood. Wood seems like a totally obvious thing that it would write on. So we're going to have to let that dry. And then let's try the resin. So we'll do it on the sides here. And we want a color that's going to pop. So we'll do yellow. And then we'll let it dry and see what it does. I think this is something you'd have to do a few times if you're going to do it. Right? And let it dry. I would definitely let it dry. You're going to get streaks through this. That does not surprise me at all that you would get streaks through that. So we'll let that sit and dry. Now we have our shot glass that we used the last time. So let's do the other side. And again, we're going to have to, let's do red. Now, I don't do much with glass anymore. I used to paint pour vases. And you can get a really, if you do a paint pour on a vase and then you seal it with resin, the shine is absolutely amazing. Okay, so we've got Sharpie on that. Let me put a piece of paper in there so you can see it better. That'll help, right? Okay, so we're going to have to let that dry. Where do I want to go back to? I think we'll do this. So we'll start with the E. So give it a good couple of minutes to let it dry. That's not coming off my hand anyway. So yeah, like with any kind of paint pen, I know you guys are smart enough to know that, let it sit, let it dry before you, start messing around with it. Not fussy on the glass. Not fussy on the glass, just because it's not, you'd have to go over it, a few times on it. Whereas with these guys, I mean, they wrote on the glass in the first go. Staying on. So let's just go over that again and see what kind of a difference that makes. And I will stay within the lines as best I can. I sometimes am a little concerned too when I do this that it may take off some of the color that's already there. Which I've had happen with the chrome markers. Whether I'm not letting them dry enough or not, I don't know. But I wouldn't be using these on glass. That doesn't, not with the way it's going on. Like I still have spaces in that I'd have to fill in. Just want to make sure you're seeing that well. Okay. So I wouldn't use it on glass. Let's do the yellow a little bit more on this because it has dried. Yeah, I'm not fussy on I'm getting streaks in it. I don't like that. That I don't like. But that's me. That may be the effect you're going for. All right, so we've done paper, we've done canvas, we've done a couple of kinds of paper, we've done the wood, and I'm trying to think, yeah, I've got something on the other side of that. We've done the rock. I could see using it on rocks. I can see using it on ceramic resin. It seems to be coating on there nicer. I'm not noticing the streaks with that. I wouldn't use it on resin. Again, it depends on what the effect you're going for. I wouldn't use it on glass. Again, I don't. Yeah. It's sticking. I don't know if you threw water on there if it would come off or not. You'll have to test that. I wish I had some water here. I might have to just stop this video and go get some water and see what would happen to it. Let's do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to quickly go grab some water. So, going to do a thorough test. We're going to do a thorough test. So let's just do a circle around the bottom of this. Okay, we're going to let that sit. Plastic. They didn't mention plastic on that, did they? Nope. So, let's see what it does on plastic. I'm just going to do SH on that. Okay, well those are drying for a couple of seconds. I'm going to go get some water. All right, back with plain old water. This is well water. I live in the country. I've got well water. I'm also going to get out a wet wipe because I'm kind of curious about that too. So where do I want to try this? Well, on things that make sense to try it on. So I'm going to try and take that off with both. I'm going to try and take a little bit off with my wet wipe. And I'll just do up at the top. Not putting a ton of pressure on there. I guess if you worked at it long enough, you start to get some of the paint off of that. And then we'll do the bottom with just the water. Okay. You see there? Well, that impresses me. I'm guessing there's something in the wet wipes that now they are unscented wet wipes. Okay, I have to admit I'm impressed by that. Like I'm getting a tiny bit of color off on that, but not bad. Well, that's impressive. I'll give them a 9 out of 10 on that one. That's cool. That's not coming off. So that's good to know. Let's try our shot glass with just the water on the E. Guess I shouldn't really be doing it with that side, should I? Okay, that's staying on. We'll do the S with the wet wipe. Yeah, so there's something in these wet wipes. So I guess if you really want to get your lettering off or your whatever, wet wipes seem to be the answer to that one. Okay, so water, we appear to be okay. The wet wipes, no. Let's see what happens with water on the plastic. So first off, let's just go over this. So it's on there. Okay, if I rub hard enough, I'm going to get that off. Yeah, Okay, so it's starting to come off, and it's coming off on there. I'm expecting, let's get somewhere that isn't, yeah. There's obviously something in the wet wipes, so we can take that right off. Okay, so it just depends on what you're wanting to keep put and what you're not wanting to keep put. So let's see. Okay, well, I've got maybe a little bit off of my finger. And let's see what happens here. Okay, stop using the same spot, Natalie. That's not fair. No, I think it would take a little bit of work to get that off of there with that. So let me just dry that up. Okay, I'm seriously looking for a spot that is not blue. Oh my gosh, I had blue on my thumb. Okay, we'll just get a clean wet wipe. I want to make this as fair as I can. All right. Okay, so it is taking a little bit off of there. I guess I should get that back in view for you. Again, it would take a little bit of work for you to get that off, I think. Let me just be there. Okay, so with some effort, that would come off of there, or pretty close come off of there. So what do I think? As I mentioned, I wouldn't want to be using it for anything that's shiny. I don't think that's a good use for these markers, mainly because I'm getting streaks and I don't want streaks in what I'm using it for. So the glass and the resin wouldn't be the thing I would use it on. The plastic, it's staying on unless you're trying to use a wet wipe and then you're going to take it off. So I could see using it on plastic. For example, I'll just put a B down here on the bottom of this. That was done with one of the original Sharpies I've got, so let's just put that B. Now, the one thing I am curious about that I haven't tried is isopropyl alcohol. So we're going to try that on this once that dries. Let's do it on the glass and see what happens. I'm thinking this is going to take it off. So there's Sharpie. Can you see that? Yeah. Not surprised at that at all. So if you really want to get things off, then use rubbing alcohol. Oh, it's not right. It's isopropyl. I need to stop calling it rubbing. So there you go. Gone. Okay. Let's get another piece of that. And we'll see about taking it off on a resin. I do like doing these videos for you guys, and I've watched other people doing stuff like this because it helps me to know when I watch other people what not to, buy, or, know what I'm getting into when I'm buying it. So, yeah, that'll take it off. If you find you don't like it, you might have to go over it a couple of times, and it's going to take off your shine as well from the resin, but maybe you don't care. I mean, this is a matte mold on the sides anyways. It seems like it's got some gloss on it, but anyway, so alcohol, or not, yeah, your isopropyl alcohol is going to take that off. All right, so the B should be set in now. Okay, I'm not expecting water to do anything to that, as we've seen. Which is kind of cool, right? That water is not going to impact it. I don't know what would happen if we put resin over top of it. That might be something I might have to do something, put it on, and then try resin on it at some future date. So we have that. Let's get rid of that, and let's put some alcohol on this. Again, I expect it to take it off. Now, what's down there is from my original Sharpie marker. This one, which is a permanent marker. So this does, like these, stay on for quite a while. They do eventually wear off, and I do end up writing on them again, but it's definitely taking the paint off of that. So that's something to be aware of. Okay, so my final on this is I love the fact that it is not seeping through my paper. That's big for me, like I say, because I do a lot of cards, and if I have a marker that's going to, you know, stay where I need it to, that's perfect, right? Like not bleeding through, that's really cool for me. So I do appreciate it from the paper perspective. I'm not sure what's going on with the canvas. As I say, these are cheap canvases. There's nothing, you know, they're not a level 3 artist canvas at all. So I don't know if there's something in these that's kind of causing it to be more, you to see it more so through this. So I don't know. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt whether or not you would use it on a canvas. If we prepped the canvas, would that make a difference? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Rocks, definitely, you know, purposeful on a rock for sure. If that's, you know, you're doing that. I know lots of people are into doing the mandalas and doing rock painting, so I think they'd work really well for that. We didn't try to take that off with water, so let's just, you know, if we're gonna do it, let's do it all. So let's do the back here. So it's not taking that off. So that's good to know, right? If you were going to do rocks and you were just going to put them outside, I expect over time that eventually they would. Now, they do say water resistant and fade resistant, so they're proving themselves on that. I forgot about that point on there. But in the elements, yeah, I would expect over time. I mean, you know what it's like outside, and our weather these days is totally, I don't even know what to call it anymore. Okay, I wouldn't use it on glass. I wouldn't use it on resin. I could see using it on my measuring cups. I could definitely see using it on ceramic resin. I kind of like to do the other side. I guess I can always sand that off, can't I? I'm sure it would sand off if I gave it. So let's just do the other side. Purple. Red and purple go together. And I think what I like too with the ceramic resin is it's blending as such, like you're not seeing the streaks. I'm not saying that it's blending with itself. It's the fact that I'm going over it and I'm not getting the streaks like I was with the glass. Okay. It's better on there. I can see them, but I can't, not like it was on the glass. Okay, so we'll just leave that like that. So I could see using them on that. Wood it'll work on. So overall, I guess it's all going to depend on what you really want to use it for, as to whether or not this is a good buy. I'm kind of happy I have them. I'll do some playing with my cards as well. To, you know, because like I say, I do a lot of cards. So for me, yeah, these make sense to have. There's certain things I won't use it on, which is totally cool. But there we have it. We have another review done of markers. And like I say, I stumbled across these this week. I don't know how long Sharpie has had these out for, but hey, something new for you to try if you're looking for something different. And I'm wondering if at some point, which might be kind of cool, is if they came out with a fine tip. I think that would be helpful because I like these other markers. I like the fact that they've got a fine tip. So maybe Sharpie will come out with these depending on how they do in sales with what they've already got out. And if you happen to see them that they've got the fine tip like this, please let me know. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video and you found it useful to have someone test something out that's new on the market, or new to me anyways, because I haven't seen these before. And yeah, that you found this helpful. So comment below if you found this useful, or are you finding these videos useful. I don't know what the next video is going to be about, but it'll be creative something or other. Anyway, always be creative. Always have fun. Bring joy to your life in the best ways possible. Take care and bye for now.